Hi, it's Sandra here from Creating Spain, and today I'm going to attempt to show you how I make polymer stamps, photopolymer stamps, from pretty much start to finish. Now, because the way that I do this using polymer is slightly messy on the fingers, shall I say, I am not going to be able to stop my camera in mid-flow. So there's going to be the odd minute where you're not actually seeing very much other than a straightforward setup like this. But I apologise for that, but it's just the nature of the beast. I do not want to get my camera in a mess by messing around with the buttons when I got the sticky fingers. So apologies, but you'll just have to put up with it. Okay, now to start off with, I'm going to show you what I'm going to make a stamp of. And I've got my sentiment here. Now all I have done is I have put some black vinyl, high quality wall vinyl, I hasten to add, onto a piece of plastic. It's the sort of plastic that you get little document folders. It's the thin stuff. It's this. Okay, nothing special about it. You get it in an A4 size and it's got a little thumb hole on it. And I cut that into pieces and I use that. I put the vinyl directly onto that and then I kiss cut it with the silver bullet. You can still do that even if you've got a Cameo or some other type of cutter, as long as you're capable of kiss cutting. And if you notice, this is the side that has the vinyl on it, and that is the side that I'm going to be putting my polymer gel on. I'm not doing it in reverse, I'm not doing it so it's on the back, because this vinyl is quite capable of standing up to being scrubbed. Now you can see this machine here. This is a normal UV lamp that you would buy for doing your nails. Mine has a 3-minute timer, and I have just put the timer on with the lamp on for 3 minutes to warm the lamps up, and it's just in fact clicked off. Now, what I discovered recently, which is very handy, is that although the lamp comes with 4 of these bulbs, as you can see, these have got black marks on. These bulbs have blown. Basically, they're not working properly. But I took them out, and what I did was I put the 2 remaining ones on the top here. And I did this because I was impatient to do some more stamp making, and I thought, well, if I just make sure my stamp is under those lamps, it might work okay. I have found that it works even better than it did with the 4 lamps. So although I've got some replacements coming, I'm going to be using just the 2 bulbs in future. Now I believe this is because that although this is black vinyl, some light does get through it. Yeah, it's pretty black. And it's probably not far off of what I could do if I had a really good print on black overhead projector, well, on overhead projector film, which my printer won't cope with actually, so that's why I use the vinyl anyway. But I suspect that is why it's better with just the 2 lamps, because it stops too much light getting through this vinyl. Okay, so what do I do next? I have a plate of glass which has just got some spacers on the edge, and this is just normal craft foam with double-sided tape attached, and I've just cut it into strips and put it on the end. And what I'm going to do is just use some stick tape to put my sentiment on the middle of the glass plate. Okay, that's all I do. Okay, so it's in the middle, it's just taped on. Now I take some more of the craft foam which I've backed with double-sided tape, and I'm hoping you can see this and I won't have to do it again. So remove the backing, and what I make sure I do is that I give the sentiment or whatever a little bit of a border, about 1/2 centimetre probably. But I make sure that this tape is on the black vinyl, and this is because the last thing you want is any light getting in on the sides where it shouldn't be. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors to trim that little bit of vinyl just there. Okay, and it's sticking up a little bit on the corner, so I'm just going to put some more tape to hold it down. There we go. So that's what it looks like to start with. Then I need to put the gel in, and then I put another piece of plastic over the top. Now my gel I have decanted into a shampoo bottle, a black shampoo bottle, and I keep it upside down because that is the most economical way of using it. And somewhere here I have a pin. I did have a pin somewhere, I can't find it, so I'll get another one out. I have a pin, a big pin around. You'll see why in a second. Now this stuff is very, very gloopy. I'm going to put it on top of here so you can actually see it coming out. Okay, it's very thick. And I just go backwards and forwards quite slowly. And it's probably a little bit slower than it is normal because it's quite cold today. So it's even slower than it is normally, I think. Now you don't want to fill it completely because that stuff will level out and fill the rest of the design. Now it takes experience to know how little or how much you can get away with putting in there. But I can't actually do much for you in that respect. So that's the gel in place. And if I keep it on here, I can show you. Now, if you've got any bubbles in it that are down on the surface, the lower surface, you can burst them with a pin. Obviously, if they're down on the lower part of the surface, it's going to affect your eventual stamp. On the back of it, it's not quite so bad. And I put that down, and then I just use a piece of plastic. You could use a credit card or anything. And I just make sure that it's flat, that it's filled the entire shape, and that it's flat. It's not undulating in any way. Put a second piece of glass on the top, and then this goes into my UV lamp, and I'm going to put the timer on for 30 seconds. And as it counts down, you'll hear it counting down eventually. When it counts down, I have to turn it over, and then it goes in for another period of time. So far, so easy. Now the main difficulty with this is getting the timings right. You must warm up the lamp beforehand, and the timing will vary according to
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, switch my timer to the second timer. Remove this, which we just turn it over and put it back in. And I've now got timer for 2 minutes and 20, so just start that off. Okay, it will depend on the thickness of the lines in your drawing. So if, for example, you have a very fine line, you need to increase the time that you cook the second side for. If you have a very chunky design, then you might need to decrease it. The same goes for if you have, like this morning, this is the first stamp I've made today. So the chances are that the timings I think are right will probably be fine. If I did a lot of stamps one after the other, I would gradually be decreasing the second development time because my lamps would be warmer and they cook things quicker, basically. So it is variable. You're never going to make money making stamps like this, not by a long shot. But if you want to do your own design stamps, there's particular names or phrases or particular drawings that you want to turn into stamps, then this is one way of doing it. I happen to think it's a magical process and I think it's great fun. But it has taken me a lot of effort, a lot of time and no little expense to get to the stage where I'm fairly confident that when I make a stamp it's actually going to come out as I expect it to. The liquid that I'm using, I will give you a link to that in the video somewhere or below the video. and it is available in the UK and I buy it in Spain. It isn't overly expensive, but then you've got to add VAT and then you've got to add transportation to it. So it's not the cheapest of things to buy either. Someone did leave a message on one of my videos saying, can you make the gel? I just don't think it's very likely. And I think you would need to be a biochemist probably in order to even attempt it. But you can buy it. It just takes a little effort to track it down. Okay, we're on the countdown now for this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, and I've switched my lamp off. Now I'm going to put this up here so hopefully you can actually see it. Take this one out of the way. And I need to go wash this out, so I will have to disappear for a minute or so while I wash it out. Don't worry about any gel which is on your glass, doesn't matter. Peel the two apart, and this is what it should look like. You should still have some gel left on your plate, as it were, but you should be able to see roughly what you're going to get. Now I'm just going to wash that off as quick as I can. Right, this is what you get when you have washed it off. You can see it from that side. It's not fully developed yet, it needs to have some more curing time. Now generally what you do is you put it in some water and you put it under the lamp. All I'm going to do is keep it on here and just put it under the lamp for another 180 seconds. And by the time I've done that, I know that that stamp is going to be fully hardened enough for me to give it a good scrub and get any sticky gunk off of it that might remain, and it'll be fine to dry out and use. Now you can, if you wish, put it in the UV lamp for longer, and this piece here, you can actually take that to some soapy water, give that a good scrub, and that will be reusable. What I do though is I remove the sticky tape from it and the damming tape. It is really sticky, this stuff. I do remove that because it's easier to clean up and to store if you don't have those bits on it. But yes, that is how it's done. Now I'm just going to stop this one. It's not had its full 180 seconds in there by any stretch of the imagination, but what you can do then is peel it off. Now the longer it gets to cure, the firmer that will be. Now this is still a little bit soft, so I don't think I'm going to peel it off of there. I'm going to shove it back in. But basically that is it. You then trim it however you want to trim it. If you want to fussy cut it, or if you just want to give it a bit of a border around the outside, the choice is yours. But that is how you do it, and I hope you found that useful. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.